Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/ProRevenge. In today's episode, don't mess with an engineer. No drinks, no tip. You need me to start at 8.30? Okay then. Don't want us to drive over your grass? Okay, then curbside delivery it is. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Don't mess with an engineer. I worked for a company that provides specialized equipment used in manufacturing. To protect my anonymity, I'll have to be vague about what exactly this machine does. During my time working in this field, I got to know many clients who would need these machines installed and serviced. One of these customers we'll call Jake. I later left the company for a different job, but Jake apparently kept my number. One afternoon I got a call from Jake that they wanted a new unit installing and another unit needed maintenance and wanted to know if I was available. I let him know that I left the company but that I could pass him on to someone who could help. He tells me he'll pay 2x my current rate to install the unit over the weekend. He lets me know that the company has increased the rates for installation and the company just can't afford it. The instructions they sent over just aren't clear enough and their engineers are scratching their heads trying to figure it out. He begs me to consider it and I agree. For more context, installing this unit can take a good few hours, or up to a day on your own. The company gives you two options. You can either pay for an engineer to come and install it, or you can save money and they will send instructions so the customer's own engineers can install it. The instructions aren't easy to follow and it's company policy that if someone has started to install the equipment, the supplier wouldn't get involved since they couldn't verify that any of the pieces were broken. This will be important later. I drive down on the weekend and they show me the boxes of equipment. I set to work and I make good progress installing the unit. Around 6 hours in and I'm stopped by Jake, who greets me. I let him know I'm nearly finished and he tells me, sorry, but they just don't have the budget to pay you. He understands my frustration, but his engineers can take it from here. To say I was frustrated was an understatement. I wanted revenge. There's a small button inside the unit that changes the unit into test mode. This is done to perform maintain on the unit, but it's impossible to configure the unit with this button pressed. It's only possible to reach this button using a pin, so it's not easily pressed during installation. Because of this, the installation instructions don't mention it. There's no real way of telling the equipment is in test mode, it just won't work normally. I think you can guess where this is going. I click the button, collect my things and leave. Monday morning I get a call from Jake. I declined. I knew my old company wouldn't get involved since I already started installing the unit. I knew his engineers would never figure it out. I just had to let him stew. A few days later, with many missed calls, I finally pick up. Jake is furious. He asks me where the hell I've been and why I haven't been picking up the phone. He tells me they can't figure it out how to configure the machine and they need my help. I tell him, why is this my problem? You won't pay me. He told me he was sorry and they would work something out if I could get there as soon as possible. I told him, oh no, you're going to pay me £7,000 upfront before I do anything. I'd never felt this powerful before. He screamed at me for a bit and hung up. He called back a day later after saying he's sorry for how he acted and said that if I could come fix it he would pay me, in a totally defeated tone. He tried to fight it saying he'll pay when I was done, but I was having none of it. After a bit of back and forth, he agrees to pay me. The money hit my account and I came in the next day. The look of confusion over his face when I took out a pin and changed the unit from test mode was priceless. It was even more priceless seeing his reaction to me packing up my tools and leaving after only 20 minutes of configuring. Easiest £7,000 I'd ever made. Don't try to mess with a professional problem solver. No drinks, no tip. I'm working at a huge party/concert/miscellaneous event locations, and I'm the guy responsible for refilling the bars with drinks every time the bartender mails an order, and also picking up the used glasses and pints to bring them to the washing station we have. In general, I'm the guy that helps the bars running there. Sometimes there are 2 or 3 of us in a shift, but other times not. There can be nights that there are 5 bars open and the place is full with around 3,000 people. Just to give you a taste of what the job looks like when the place is packed on a typical Friday/Saturday night, imagine that you have to carry and deliver around 20 beer kegs, each with a weight of 65 kgs, 130 lbs, and around 60 cases of beer and soft drinks just when you start your shift. When something goes out at the bar, the bartender makes a new order that I have to deliver. And this goes on all night long, from 17:00 till 6 o'clock, and sometimes if there are any goa parties till 11 o'clock. Also, just to give another taste of big this place is, during a normal shift according to my phone, I'm walking 28 km, 17 miles. Where I come from we call this job runner. The unwritten law there is like this, that each bartender has to give 20% of the tip they make each night to the runner. Because without a runner he would have no drinks to serve. Nobody can really know who is really giving the 20% of their tip, but that's another story. But every bartender is giving something, and usually it's a lot, and all sides are happy. There comes a new guy and staff manager explains him the unwritten rule, saying exactly these words: you don't want to have problems with any of the runners. So be fair. When you're doing this job for a while, you know approximate if the tip you will get is going to be good or not. Fast forward. Huge metal fest with all bars open, 3 different stages plus outdoor bars etc., plus after show parties. The place is packed like there is no tomorrow. This festival is happening every year and it's one of the best shifts, even though a lot of work and around 17 hours of work. Yes, it's a lot, but walking home with 1,000 tip is worth it. So the new guy has a spot at very good selling bar, was providing and delivering drinks there like crazy. After a long shift, when everything done and they do their calculations, he brings the money to the treasury, looks at me, says cold-blooded, "Thank you, have a good night, tonight was a good night to work," and walks away without giving me my tip. That was it, folks. I kept doing my job every time he had a shift at one of the bars like nothing happened, and I was just waiting for full pack night to come. And finally, after a week, it was the time. Again, the place is fully packed. His first order arrives in my tablet. Sadly, I was too busy to deliver. 1 hour passes, he tries to call me on my phone, I pick standing next to a subwoofer. 1.5 hours go by, a second order arrives from him, didn't even deliver the first one. Sadly, I was again too busy. Then after half hour the shift manager calls me on the radio. The shift manager was lassoed doing this job before getting a better position there. Hey, what is going on? Why he has no drinks to sell? I'm busy with the rest of the bars, the guests can go to the other bars. Are you serious? That guy can only sell water and everything else is empty. And then I reply, he can sell water, but no one tips a bartender for a water, right? Small pause on the radio, you can't be serious, he's leaving no tip for you guys? Yep, you guessed right. I'm sending this idiot home. Positive. You need me to start at 8.30? Okay then. Setting the stage. I was working in a small tech startup ages ago when I was just fresh out of uni as a grad, first then as a software engineer. At first the company was fantastic. I was in the R&D department and we were making some cool bleeding edge stuff. Then the company ran into trouble and had a shakeup. They fired everyone in R&D except for the lowest paid worker, aka me. They then brought on a new GM who was not a tech guy. At this point our product worked pretty well, but the sales guys would promise the world whilst we could only maybe provide Iceland. The precipitating incident. I used to come in at 9 or 10ish, so not a morning person. and finish at between 7 to 10 p.m. Also, at least 3 to 5 times a month needed to travel to clients and needed to be there for a meeting at 9, so left at 4 a.m. All good, got the work done, and everyone was happy. Enter our new GM. GM, I've noticed you come in late on many occasions in the last few weeks. What is going on? Me, I have never had a set start time, just do the work and get sh*t done. I'm not late because I don't have an official start time. GM, that's bonkers, you're contracted for 8:35. I need you to be in for 8:30. Me, sure. Will do. Maliciously compliant. Came in at 8:30 every day, left at 5. Result: got a lot less work done. Customers had to work around me arriving at midday. Sorry, my manager doesn't allow me to leave before 8:30, so nothing I can do. GM pulled me into his office saying he'd had complaints about me not being available to customers. I told him I don't understand why. He told me to work at 8:30, doing that. He says, well, but customer visits don't count. Well, should have told me that. Then complained my productivity had gone down in the last few months. Well, sure, I'm working my contracted hours as per his instructions, no longer pulling 9 to 12 hours a day. Outcome: he asked me to ignore his instructions and go back to the way we were. Informed him I found a new job. Don't want us to drive over your grass? Okay, then curbside delivery it is. Sorry for my English not native speaker. To give some context, this was in Mexico. My father-in-law just retired trucking and is helping his sons that have a small local delivery company. They mostly work with some hardware stores that offer free shipping, that way they get more sales. Then they call some delivery companies and use the cheapest one. The terms for the free shipping is that it is curbside. If they want anything else they have to pay extra. So last week they had this customer that asked for a lot of construction material since they were remodeling their home. My in-law went to the place and the customer asked them to put the materials in the backyard. He said that it was a curb delivery and that their truck wouldn't be able to drive there easily. Basically, the customer is 60 years old, asked very politely to help them since they had no way to move the stuff and they couldn't had it in the front porch for safety and HOA reasons. Well, my father-in-law now failed to make things easier, told him that he would need to back up and drive over the grass, which was wet. This basically took 20 to 30 minutes just to be able to back up the truck to the backyard, and obviously made a bit of a mess in the front garden, but easier to fix some grass than to move a few tons of construction materials. He basically did this for free and just to be a nice person. Next day, FIL gets a call from the hardware store that the customer was very upset, that they messed up their front garden and blah blah blah. That they ended up giving the customer some credit notes/gift cards. FIL told them that they wouldn't be charging for that delivery or would give them the next curbside delivery for free. Well, guess what? Yesterday they got a new delivery to the same address with the same person. This time a lot of sheetrock panels, 2x4, and I don't remember what else, but well, construction material. The customer asked the same, curbside delivery. FIL first of all apologized for driving over the grass and all the apologetic stuff you do to keep your client happy, but here's the malicious compliance. Right when the customer was like, don't worry, is okay, you can drop in the backyard, FIL was like, nope, can't do. I'm dropping it here as stipulated in this invoice you signed. According to FIL, customer was fuming, called the store really didn't care much. They spent the best part of an hour discussing and FIL wouldn't budge. Finally he was like, if you don't want to receive it is okay, it is already paid, I will just return it to the store, but I believe they will charge you a restocking fee. So he had to make a choice, receive the stuff and move it himself, or return it and have the contractors unable to do anything the next day. So he decided the first. FIL left everything nicely accommodated in the curbside and left. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.